Thursday. Can you believe it's Thursday of week 50? You know what next Thursday is? Thursday is Christmas. And then New Year's. And then we start all over again, right? It's hard to believe how quickly this is all gone. But anyways, I hope you guys have had a great week and had a chance to enjoy a little Christmas cheer. I'm Paula from Desert Cut Creations, in case you don't know who I am. Thanks for joining me. Today we are going to make our week 50 project, which is a lanyard. And going a little out of my comfort zone on colors today, so you'll see what I have in mind. But it's going to be an asymmetrical design, and it's going to use tiny beads and square beads and split rings. So get excited for that. I don't know if you saw it. If you're members of our group, you saw that I finally got around to making my Christmas bread. That is my one of two, well, maybe three cooking traditions that I have from my family. We always made stollen to enjoy during the Christmas season. So if you don't want to know what stollen is, it's a bread, and it's usually got either raisins or the recipe I had always called for some of those candied fruits and peels that end up in a fruit cake, but you know, it's just a little amount, so it's not like they're there. And some of them are cherries, so cherries are good. Anyways, and I put marzipan in my middle, and you can buy stollen, but it always tastes better when you make it yourself. So that's one of my traditions. My other one is we always made crepes for Christmas morning, so I always make them the night before, and then we just warm them up and have them with strawberries on top. So I still have that to make, so that'll be exciting, you know. And then since I'm in Arizona, although this actually started back when I was in Colorado, we also have tamales on Christmas Day, and I usually make homemade green chili. So I still got to make that, but hey, you know, I think I'm finally ready for Christmas. Got all the packages mailed. I do work on a Christmas letter, which I need to work on today, but we'll see how that goes. Anyways, let's get started. We're started a little bit late, and let's review what we're doing here today. All right, excuse my close-up, you know, gotta get close enough to the camera to see which button I'm pushing. You can see my messy workspace. All right. So, just a reminder of what we're making this week. So, we are using our weekly Bead Stash challenge draw to make either a sunglass holder or lanyard. I've chosen the lanyard today, but the design I'm making you could use to, you know, hold your sunglasses when you're not wearing them. But we'll see how that goes as we move forward. And then what we're going to use in our design. So we are going to use tiny beads, 2 to 3 millimeter beads. So one of the things I've got is I've got some 3 millimeter square beads, which also count as my square beads. Let me move some of the stuff out of the way. And I got some small beads in this bead mix that I kind of threw together here, so we'll see how that goes, right? Then I have to use square or cubed beads in my design. So like I said, I have some 3 millimeter squares, and I also have some 4 millimeter squares, which I think will show up okay. We have to use split rings. So I've got like 3 small split rings here. We'll probably use 2 of them, but haven't totally decided on that, so we'll be doing that on the fly. And if you'll notice, I picked antique brass, which is not my go-to color. I also have all these like fall colors here. But we have to do an asymmetric design, so that means, you know, one side different from the other, you know, around the middle. So I thought I would use these These beads came with a package from Stars Beads, so we're going to use those. And these are kind of fall colors, not my usual colors, but I thought they kind of went well with my antique brass, right? So then I just pulled out an assortment of crystals and my seed beads to kind of coordinate. So, you know, these are browns, oranges, yellows, coppers. These might even be kind of gold colored, right? So we are just going to put some of those together and make this. So, you know, it's going to be a pretty basic stringing project. But, oh, I did want to show one more thing. Hold 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to run to the other end of the house. Anyways, all right. We'll show you later. So if you're out there watching, let me know if you're catching the replay. Love to know who's out there. So let's just get started. All right. So let's set these aside. And then we're gonna pull out some of these cubes, because, you know, it has to be long enough to go around our neck and hang something off of. Now, you know, if you work in an office, you might wear a lanyard. I wore one for years. And then, you know, I wear them now, like when I go to the gem show, to wear my ID that I have to wear at some of those shows. So anyways, I am going to use some Soft Flakes Butterscotch Imperial Topaz, because I thought it would go great with these colors. Now, I could have pulled out my antique brass, but I didn't. So I am going to pre-cut this, only because then it'll help me pay more attention to how far along I am. So I'm thinking I am going to cut it at about 30 inches. Just, I think that'll be good. So, hey, Mariaka, getting the nails done before Christmas. Good for you. I saw couple people this week that had really cute nails going. So anyways, I am going to go ahead and, you know what, actually I was going to put a bead stopper on, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and put a loop in one end here. And I am going to just put it around the one of our split rings. All right, so I'm just putting this back through the crimp bead. We are doing a crimp here. All right, so I'm leaving a little bit of a loop there, because I think it's fine. It doesn't need to be that tight. And we are going to use our magic crimper. So we are making a ravioli. Say the ravioli. And then we're going to turn it 90 degrees. Again, put it in that divot in the tool and squeeze. And then just slowly squeeze until you get a nice, and turn, you get a nice round bead there. All right, so let's now put a few beads on here. So I'm going to start with a couple of small ones. Let's do a couple. Like a crystal. I'm not going to worry too much about, you know, what all I'm putting on here. I'm putting a couple of small beads on just so that I just always like to have, you know, a few small ones near the end. Hopefully this will go back through the crystal. I did not check. The squares definitely have big holes in them, but the all right, looks like my crystal I cannot double this up on. So you know what, I might just, because I haven't started, I'm gonna save that for later rather than, because I want the extra tail tucked in just to make it a little more secure, because you know, a lanyard, especially a beaded lanyard, can get a little heavy. So let's just put a couple more beads. I'm just going to randomly grab beads here, so at least until I get a couple in there. All right. Yeah, hopefully it tends to go through these bigger ones. All right, and then I think on one end I'm going to use this big piece, okay, and then we are just going to randomly put some crystal or some beads on here, and all we're doing is stringing today, so so what's everybody else working on today? You doing any crafts, cooking, present wrapping? There's always so much to do at this time of year. All right, and those of you that know me know these are not my usual colors, and they're a little fall. It's kind of fall colored, but you know, it's all right. I'm going to tighten this up a little more, just so you guys can see. All we're doing is stringing. Now I do want to make sure I leave room at the other end for these guys to be in the front. So I do need to make sure I have beads that are thick enough to work with. Maybe I'll put those in between. All right, so we'll have to make sure we leave ourselves a little bit of room so that we don't forget to put those on. And I am just randomly grabbing beads now that I've set out what I want to put on that end. Now, you know, some people are afraid to use cubes because they think they're pointy and will, you know, kind of dig into your neck, but you know, chances are you're going to have a shirt collar on or something, and I haven't found that they actually do dig into my neck, so like I said, we are just throwing beads on here. Usually this time of year, I like to throw in a little holiday spirit in my design, but today's is just, you know, just to make it more usable. I'm going to not force any, you know, Christmas stuff in there, because I want to be able to wear it, you know, throughout the year. If I need a lanyard, right? But I'm also going to show you how you can convert your lanyard into you know, something else. You can wear it, you know, like with a pin or something, a brooch. And I heard something recently that seemed to imply that people thought, you know, there was going to be a lot of more interest and design in brooches, blah, can't talk, this year. So next week, since our normal show time would be Christmas Day, I'm not going to join you on Christmas Day, but I think I will do it the day after. So hopefully some of you will be able to join me and not be out doing the after Christmas, you know, exchanging presents or buying things on sale. Not that I'm opposed to that, because it is a great time to get some great deals, and you don't want to be stuck with the stuff that doesn't work for you. Although I always find that, you know, when you have to go later, probably they don't have your size. It's very hard to exchange something. But you never know. So hopefully you guys get what you want. You know, the older we get, the harder it is to buy gifts for people. I do like to make things for my relatives and friends. Just, you know, then it's something personal, and it can be something that's specifically for them. It's the advantage of making your own stuff, right? Or you can, you know, buy things other people made, so. See, can't find the hole in my bead. There. As soon as I'm off, I'm actually going to get new glasses, so I don't know if I'll be able to see better or not, but I don't think They might have changed the readers. I don't know. Guess we'll find out, huh? All right. Yeah, this is definitely not my my color scheme. You all know that. I have nothing against neutrals. I like color. I like blues. I like pretty much any shade of blue. Blues and greens. A lot of coral's fun. Just a pop of color. To hold this up and just see how. So about halfway. Might run out of beads here. I think I'm gonna have to. I think last time I made my lanyard, I made it a little short, but you know what? It works great as a necklace. Didn't distribute my crystals very well here. It's all right. So I need so about that much for the loop. All right. So we still got to go about that far, huh? So. Guess I should have dug out more crystals. But it's all right. We are just going to have a lot of cubes here. So hope everybody, like I said, is ready for Christmas because it's going to be here next week. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, that's fine too. But we pretty much do a low-key thing around here. We kind of like to just take our time in the morning and sleep in, eat breakfast, open a few presents. Then we have, later we'll do stockings. Santa still comes to my house, even though, you know, I've been an adult for a long time now. So. All right, so we're at I have to get more cubes out here. Well, you know, it's supposed to be asymmetric, so I don't have a problem that, you know, the one side seems to have just things a little less crystally. Have to get some more of my cubes out here. Let's see, how long did I say I needed? All right, we'll get a few more out. I know, just watching me string is not very exciting, and it's not something that all of you don't already know. All right, just a little more, then we're gonna put these on the wrapped around. I think. All right, let me put just a couple more of these on, and then I'm gonna put the big beads on, and if we need to add, we'll add some small beads. Okay. So we are just only, it's, you know, a random design other than what I'm doing right here at the bottom. It's like we've got room for a few more here. So, you know, when you're using the asymmetric card, it just means that you don't have it, you know, exactly the same or the exact pattern on, you know, either side of the center. If you were doing earrings, you know, you could, if you could put like the beads in a different order, but still have the same beads so that they kind of match. All right, so let's say that's enough. So, all right, so it's enough because we're out of beads anyway. So we could get more cubes out because I have more cubes, but I think long enough. All right, so let's put our crimp on. Now, you know, I could just make the loop and add my split ring because you can open the split ring. I'm just saving myself a little hassle because sometimes those split rings are hard to open without misshaping them. Right. Sometimes these crimps have a little burr in there you got to get past. So. What I'm doing is I'm gently, you know, pulling on the long side, moving my crimp down, and actually I want to tuck it into a couple beads here. See where it. Here we go. So, you know, as you're tightening this up, you want to go through a couple beads, then you pull the side out, and then you can just gently pull that through. and push it. So, you know, you want your beads to be close together, unless you're trying to show the color of the, you know, your soft flex wire, which is fine, because it's very pretty, but I'm going to minimize that. All right, so remember, we're going to put our crimp in the divot, make a ravioli, and then we're going to turn it 90 degrees and crimp. And just slowly crimp. And if you can hold on to both sides with your fingers, it'll make it a little easier to turn things. But what you end up with is a nice bead looking thing. And then I'm going to trim this. Make sure you don't end up trimming through both pieces. All right, now let me move these things out of the way. So now I have my lanyard, right? And I'll use my, so this could be used, you know, I've got a couple options here, all right? So if I want to make it just so there's one loop, I can put the two of these through this loop, which I may do since I plan to use it as a lanyard. But if I wanted to use this to hold my glasses, you know, I could do that too, but they are going to slide off if you do that. The other option is you just, you know, if you're not wearing your glasses, say you want something for your reading glasses or to switch off, then you can just stick, you know, one side of your glasses through, you know, both of these. Although that will be easier, you know, because when you take it off, then it's going to fall off your neck. All right. So what I recommend I'm going to do, so split ring, the nice thing is it twists on there. So if you think of a keychain, I'm going to stick my nail in there, open it, then I'm going to slide both of these in, and then I'm just going to pull them until they come through that other side, right? So now I have this pretty lanyard, and I can hang something from there, and it would still work to, like I said, you know, if you have reading glasses or something, you have to switch them out. You can hang them through that way. And the other thing we've got, I do have a pin here. I don't know if the my lights work. Yeah, they do. Like, I got my flashy pin. So here I can either hang it, well, in this case, this one, because it hangs that way, I can just stick my ring through that and hang it there. And now I have, you know, a necklace. And Betty, who was watching the other day, also suggested you can always just hang your, put the split ring in the back, and then you have a, you know, a colorful necklace if you want to wear it that way. But I will put this on, and let's, sorry, pushed the wrong button. I didn't know what I did there. All right, so, and there we go. I know I have other necklaces on, but we have our necklace. So once again, I've made my lanyard a little bit short, but you know, it just means my tag will be up here instead of hanging down here on my belly. So that's our lanyard, and like I said, you can also just as easily slide your glasses onto there if you need to carry them around. All right. So that's our week 50 project. So we've got 2 more projects this year. Sunday at noon Mountain Time, we will draw for our week 51 project. And then I will do the design reveal on the 26th, so Friday of next week. And then Sunday we will draw for our week 52 project. We may, well, I don't know, that's New Year's, is it New Year's Day or New Year's Eve? I need to look at the calendar. I think that's New Year's Day, right? So, I might do it the day before so that it actually goes into the week 52. It's supposed to, starting the new year off. But I will let you know on that because I do know I have stuff going on that day. So, yeah, we may do it a different day. But, all right. Thanks for joining me. As always, if you haven't already, please like and follow us at Desert Cat Creations on Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All videos are posted over on YouTube after we stream them on Facebook. They only last on Facebook for 30 days, so if you're ever looking for something, it should be over on YouTube. Not all of last year's videos are there because they changed the policy later. And this year, all of them are there except for, I think, like 3 weeks of March because I didn't get to them in time when they changed the policy. So, but everything else is available. And if you ever have any questions, just send me a direct message at Desert Cat Creations, and I'll be happy to help you answer any questions about my products, or if you're stuck on doing something, or if you're looking for something in particular, please reach out to me and I'll let you know if I can help you out. I usually respond, within a few hours, but unless I'm, out of town, or you send it in the middle of the night, then it's going to take me a little bit to get back to you. But I will get back to you as soon as I can. And thank you all again for joining me. If you catch the replay, let me know you're out there and where you're coming in from. Love to know who's watching. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hey, let me know. I'd love to know who's catching me there. And if you are interested in our products, we do have a website. So the website is available in the descriptions on all of those pages, as well as I can send it to you directly if you direct message me. So thanks again. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you Sunday for week 51. Bye.